The underground Toronto rap scene can be very dicey to navigate. Usually it's a race between your street money and rap money, and when your rap money starts to surpass the trap money, then you can finally stop running the streets. More times than not, rappers end up in jail multiple times while running that race, and sometimes for life. Thorobread, aka the Ardwick General, is no different, and this story takes us from Toronto to Florida, facing the death penalty for his crimes. Today we're going to get into the story of Thorobread and how he went from the street to the booth and possibly the electric chair.
A Canada-wide warrant has been issued for 2 suspects connected with the vicious attack of a missing Ontario woman.
So you have more, you understand more than the fundamentals of the game. For sure.
2 men, one with a wild face tattoo and another who was featured on the U.S. Marshals Most Wanted list.
Congratulate the other player, you know?
Definitely.
We have also obtained Canada-wide warrants for 2 co-conspirators involved in the December 2021 attack.
And then secondly, it sounds like he was a violent criminal in Canada. He came down here to Florida.
I'm just trying to do the music. They do not like that. They do not like black male coming from the system, being free, expressing themselves in any which way, shape, or form.
This is in no way to glorify street gangs or violence. This is simply a precautionary tale so you don't go down the same path. Please remember to like, subscribe or you're dissing, and comment below and let me know what you think about this crazy Toronto story. Thorobread was born Deshaun Davis in 1987 in Toronto and raised in the Jane and Finch area, specifically Jane West on Ardwick Boulevard in the housing complexes. The area is a low-income, high-crime area that had most of its criminal peaks in the late 90s and early 2000s. Common crimes in the area include property crimes, theft, vandalism, motor vehicle theft, and violent crimes like assault and robbery. The area has seen issues with gang activity, particularly with the use of lower income families. 27% of the gang members identifying as white, 23% as black, and 18% South Asian. Jane and Finch has higher unemployment rates and greater proportion of single parent families contributing to the economic challenges. There was always gangs in Toronto, but in the mid-90s, gangs started changing from the influence of the Los Angeles Bloods and Crips. Between rap songs and actual gang members coming up to Toronto to spread the movement, the influence was definitely there. This spread gave birth to the Ardwick Bloods in the late 90s and drew Thorobread in at a young age. As a youngin', Thorobread was a self-proclaimed bad kid, but had hoop dreams.
It was so f***ed up. Like, yo, it's just f***ed up to say I was a badass kid. It's a bad kid. I love my mom with all her heart. She tried her best, but I was just a bad kid, you know? I tried to be on the school team.
Okay.
Probably was on it, if I could be, maybe for like a week before I got suspended. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was one of those kids, like,
Yeah.
you suspended, kicked out. You're not allowed to go to trips. The trips coming, I did some shit.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to go to the trip.
Yeah.
I'm in detention, behavior school. Here, you know, like, I probably got to see grade 8. Grade 8, the Elms. Probably the only time I really got to shine on a basketball team.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I went to grade 9 and got expelled in like this 3rd week of grade 9. Never went into a high school since.
His inability to focus in class and all the outside influences led him to getting expelled by grade 9 and subsequently dropping those basketball aspirations. In 2005, his blood gang allegiance could be seen in his early music videos with his old rap group, Finch West Houligoons.
Niggas gon' hate on the kid. Why you wanna bake on the kid? You out of luck if you shake on the kid. On the real niggas is fake to the kid.
From that visible allegiance came some of his first incarcerations when a raid was made after Toronto police got tired of the visibly growing gang problem. After his first jail bid, Thorobread got way more focused on the music.
It's money over bitches, and these bitch niggas, fingers got girth, I need big triggers.
His flows, voice, cadence, and story had him running up the views on YouTube during the 2010s. His music was getting a lot of attention, and right before he can take it to the next level, he was arrested again.
It was more like on this last situation, my last bit, when they tried to give me the dangerous offender, the subsection 732.
Oh wow, the DO, they tried to DO you.
Yeah,
Wow.
DO, LTO. I was like,
Oh, sorry, that's what they call, sorry, LTO?
both of them. They actually went for DO and LTO.
Oh wow, that's what, lifetime offender or something like that?
Long-term offender. The dangerous offender is indefinite life.
Yeah.
Wow. Long-term offender, just like a stiff penalty, and 10 years on parole.
Oh wow.
So these are designations they try to keep.
Yeah, like
on you.
yeah. So I got convicted, and then as soon as they convict me, you get sent. You're supposed to go for sentencing, right? You federal. So you sentencing. So then when I went for sentencing proceedings, the Crown interrupted the judge and whatnot. Say, yo, listen, you want to halt the sentencing proceedings and insert subsection 732.
Okay.
Whoa. You know what I'm saying? Against Mr. Davis, and say, you know what? Let's try to give me life, indefinite life. And if they can't give me indefinite life, they say, you know what? Let's give him a long-term offender. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I went through that process for like 7 months. No date, no sentencing, no date when I'm already convicted.
You're convicted now.
But now I don't even know when I'm getting, how much.
When you're on that, yeah.
Yeah, like you can't get your time until you know what I'm saying, you go through that process. So with that being said, like, yeah, I went through that shit for like 7 months. They didn't know what date, what I'm going home, or what going on, but I'm guilty, like they said, I'm guilty. But yeah, you're guilty, you're cracked, but I don't know when I'm going home.
Yeah.
So then after that, beat that, 7 months after that, I went to sentencing, got my time, 8.5. 8.5 years, did 5.5 out of 8.5, 2/3 of 8.5.
At this point, Thoroberad had features with Don Q, Tory Lanez, and the late great King Von. But shortly after that interview, Thoroberad went low. When he resurfaced, it was via news stories.
Meanwhile, a Canada-wide warrant has been issued for 2 suspects connected with the vicious attack of a missing Ontario woman. The 37-year-old was abducted just a few weeks after the attack from a home in Wasaga Beach, Ontario in January of last year. Several arrests have been made, but she still has not been found. Police are reaching out again to the public for any information leading to her whereabouts.
The images, as you will see, are of 2 males and 1 female, whom we believe through the investigation reside and around the Greater Toronto area.
Added to Canada's most wanted list earlier this year, was charged in the 2022 kidnapping of Elnaz Hajtamiri.
Thoroberad ended up going on the run and was wanted for the abduction of Elnaz Hajtamiri of Richmond Hill when she was abducted in January 22 from her home in Wasaga Beach. The reports at the time said there was 5 men in connection with the abduction, including Elnaz's boyfriend and Thoroberad. At the time of the abduction, surveillance and witnesses reported 3 men going into Elnaz's home dressed in police clothing.
Just a couple weeks after that, on January the 12th of 2022, police allege that she was kidnapped, that she was abducted from a home in Wasaga Beach. This was a home belonging to relatives, a home where she had been staying. Police say that 3 men dressed up as police officers abducted her and that she was put into a white Lexus SUV.
The whole Toronto scene was in shock when Thoroberad's picture started getting published on multiple news outlets, accompanied with a heavy joint reward of $100,000 or $25,000 for Thoroberad's individual whereabouts. The manhunt took us all the way from Toronto to Florida, where things got worse.
37-year-old Deshaun Davis and 38-year-old Guerby Francois. Miami police believe that these 2 were involved in the shooting death of rapper and music producer Lowell Grissom, known as Young Low or just Low. Now, Grissom, who is originally from California, is best known for his work with Chris Brown, but according to his LinkedIn, he'd also had done work with Drake, Lil Wayne, Ray J. And we go back to 4 a.m. on May 7th, 2023. This is when Miami Beach police get a 911 phone call that there have been shots fired inside of the Gala Miami nightclub. This is an upscale lounge often frequented by celebrities and the like. So first responders arrive and they find 3 victims, all with gunshot wounds. Grissom was taken to a hospital, but he died on the operating table, his mother told local affiliate WPLG.
In 2023, as widely reported, Thoroberad allegedly got into an altercation with a close friend and producer for Chris Brown by the name of Lowell Grissom, aka Everybody Knows Low. The report said that the incident was due to something gang-related, but the news was never able to confirm that. However, if you dig deeper, there are more reports that Low had alleged ties to the Bloods. This also wouldn't be the first attempt on his life. A prior incident in Greenwich Village, New York City, where Low was slashed and stabbed, is cited as evidence that he may have been targeted, possibly due to involvement in activities or associations that put him at risk. Sources suggested that maybe young Low just got mixed up in gang rivalry and got the bad end of the stick. Thoroberad also didn't allegedly act alone. At the time of the shooting, 2 men were reported to be stalking Lowe at the nightclub. The other man was a Florida rapper by the name of Woopy Francois, aka Woopy Woop. Woopy Woop has a bunch of music that you can find on YouTube. From my musical research, I do see that he was part of a crew called the Mess Boys, and there was some red in the music videos. However, I won't let the music videos tie him to the Bloods or any other gangs without an even deeper deep dive on this individual. That aside, reports say that he was in the club with Thoroberad that night. An argument ensued for a few minutes with Lowe's crew and the 2 men. Subsequently, reports say that Thoroberad came back alone and let off multiple shots, sending the club scattering. He then allegedly ran out of the club to an awaiting getaway car driven by Woopy Woop to escape the scene. Months later, Woopy was picked up in Florida for an unrelated incident where he gave a fake name and ID to authorities. It is not clear how Thoroberad got connected with Woopy Woop, but when authorities picked up Woopy, his phone had the name Thoroberad saved in his WhatsApp, giving police more info into Bread's backstory as an artist. Thoroberad was arrested in Redway, California, after a home that he was staying in was raided. He was arrested for the murder of Grissom and held without bond. In addition, he's facing extradition to Canada for the kidnapping of El Naj Hajtameri after the U.S. sentencing, but that's if he survives. In the latest update, there are reports that Thoroberad could be facing a death penalty for his charges in the U.S. More recent articles state that depending on the state prosecution's decision, if Thoroberad is convicted of first-degree murder, he may get the death penalty legal in the state of Florida.
Yes, Your Honor. Yes. The grand jury returned an indictment for 1 count of first-degree murder and 2 counts of attempted first-degree murder.
Just to give you guys some info on the state of Florida's death penalty, capital punishment is legal in Florida, primarily for first-degree murder with aggravating factors such as premeditation, commission during another felony, examples like arson, robbery, SQL battery, or targeting specific victims like law enforcement officers. Florida was the first state to reinstate the death penalty after the U.S. Supreme Court's 1972 Fundman versus Georgia ruling, which suspended it nationwide. The state drafted a new statute in 1972, and executions resumed in 1979 with John Speckle. Since 1976, Florida has executed 113 individuals, with 44 by electrocution and 69 by lethal injection. As of June 24, 2025, 269 inmates are on death row. In 2023, Ron DeSantis signed laws expanding death eligibility crimes, including child contradicting Kennedy versus Louisiana 2008, and allowing non-unanimous jury recommendations, potentially increasing death sentences. A 2025 bill proposed a death penalty for human trafficking of children under 21 backward, and another mandates it for undocumented immigrants convicted of capital crimes, both facing likely challenges. As of recently, Florida executed 6 individuals in 2023, 1 in 2024, and 7 in 2025, reflecting significant increase under Governor DeSantis, who has sole authority to sign the death warrants. With this wild update, this would be a first that any of our Toronto rappers in jail would be facing the death penalty for their crimes. So we're going to have to come back with the updates on Thoroberad and his crazy story. But if you like this video, hit that like, let me know what you think about it in the comments below, and thanks for watching.
We love hip hop.